Hi, welcome back. My name is Frankie and this is Frankie Talks Too Much, where we talk about everything on my brain, overthinking, pop culture, just everything that I would share with a friend on a FaceTime call. So every episode I start with what I did this week. And I just wanted to start with the things that are on my social media every day, like what is coming on my For You page, what is being recommended to me by the creators of Instagram, Meta. Anyway, my social media feeds are filled with content about how to create content and how to build content and how to build viewers and grow a following, and it's actually driving me nuts. I know that if I want more people to listen to this podcast, I need to post more. I need to probably follow their advice, but I'm still getting my feet wet, so I don't know how I feel about just constantly posting more and more. But when I go on social media, all I want to see is funny videos or information or news, not more about how to grow my feed and how to make more followers and make money from social media. I guess it's probably because it's not my main goal of this podcast is to make money, but it's just kind of irritating when I just need a brain break. And the very first thing is, this is how to get to 10,000 followers. This is what you can do to make your content stand out. You need to be posting on your stories more, things like that. It's driving me crazy. It makes me actually want to use my brick more. I probably should. I haven't been reading as much, which contributes to the reason why I'm on social media. Anyway, I really need to be better about using social media, be better about not being on my phone that much, but also I need to create more content, which, it's so difficult to think about or to get a good balance when you're just starting out in the podcasting sphere, that I need to be posting my podcasts on YouTube. I need to do so many things. I just need to do so many things. And I feel like as a stay-at-home mom, there's always something on my plate, always something to do. And I'm not helping myself. I'm the one who decided to create a podcast. I'm the one who decided to sign my five-year-old up for soccer, and also sign him up for a wrestling camp, and sign my 4-year-old up for just all the different camps and fun things to do this summer. And I just keep adding to my own plate, which is driving me crazy just as much as social media. All in all, final lesson that I'm starting this podcast off really strong by saying that I need to get off my phone, because I am just bombarded with information on how to become a successful person on the internet. Wow, maybe that's not my main goal. But anyway, speaking of the things that are always on my plate, summer is just moving so quickly. How is July next week? I started this podcast on June 1st, and July 1st is next Wednesday. My son will be done with summer school next Wednesday. Everything's changing next Wednesday. I'm gonna have so much free time. The summer is going so quick. I'm so excited for the 4th of July. That is one of my very favorite holidays, behind summer solstice. I love summer solstice. I love winter solstice. It's always a good time, a good refresh, a new leaf. But summer is just moving so quickly. I haven't had much time to swim. I think I've only swam a couple times this summer, and swimming's my favorite thing to do in the summer. We haven't had that many barbecues yet. It's only June. And my birthday's coming up really quickly. I have 0 plans for my birthday. I turned 30, so that's probably something I need to get a hold on now. Well, especially in the month of July. But I turned 30 in a month and a half. That's absolutely nuts. My birthday is usually a sign of summer is done and ending, because it's mid-August. So it's really sad to think that it's coming, but I will say, I'm just a lover of all things. I love fall, I love winter, I love spring, I love summer. But I just don't want this year to go by so quickly. I feel like I'm so lucky. I'm in such a good place in my life. My kids are the perfect age. I don't want to wish away any time, and I want to take it all in. But that's almost impossible. You can't just take every single thing in, every single time in, because you're always gonna, I don't know, I'm trying to not to always want for the next thing or always miss the thing in the past. but I'm just so lucky. I'm in such a great time of my life that I just want to pause everything and just eat up every second that I can. But yes, I can't believe summer's almost done. No, it's not almost done. We're almost halfway through. It's just moving so quickly, I already think it's almost done. But anyway, with summer this year, I'm so glad comes the FIFA World Cup. I've spoken about the FIFA World Cup in every single episode of this podcast so far. I am not a soccer person, but again, this camaraderie has really just brought out just a love of soccer in me. And this week, we went to my husband's work party. They held like the United States versus Australia game like watch party at the Mosaic nightclub in downtown. I was born and raised here in the area. I have never been to Power and Light when it was packed with people. That was actually the first time I'd ever been, like when there's actually a crowd there. Like I've walked through it when it was empty, but I've never been there for a game. And so going to a nightclub in the middle of the day was one, odd, but two, it was so cool to get to experience like an actual game down in Power and Light and to see just the camaraderie and everybody so excited to cheer on the United States. Of course, there were quite a few Australia fans. Even at my husband's work party, there were Australia fans, but his work is so bougie. Like renting out a nightclub was so not what I would expect for a watch party. Like I expected it to be maybe at their new office or something like that. No, but I can't complain. The food was so good. The parking was actually free. Those who don't know, we actually had to pay for parking at his like holiday gala last year, but it all made it worth it because they had Rick Ross and T-Pain come. I'll talk about that if anybody wants me to talk about it. But this company is just so bougie and the food was so good. I ate so much that my stomach actually hurt so bad. But anyway, all in all, go USA. I'm really cheering them on. I know that they went to the knockout round. I actually didn't know anything about FIFA before this even started. We had to Google how FIFA worked. Like, is it best 2 of 3? Is it best of 5? No, it's like round robin games and some random groups that they draw out. And if you win a certain number of points, because if you win, you get 3 points. If you get a draw, it's 1 point. And if you lose, it's 0 points. But whoever has the highest amount of points in each group gets to go to the knockout round. It's so confusing, but it makes sense. I am staring out the brackets now as people start making their way into the knockout round. But yes, go USA. I really hope they do really well in the FIFA World Cup. They haven't won yet, which isn't surprising. We're not a big soccer country, but I hope the United States wins. I just love my country, and the 4th of July is coming up, and yes. Anyway, also this week, to celebrate Father's Day, we went to go see Toy Story 5. Okay, Toy Story 5, I liked it, but let me just start from the beginning. It starts out with multiple Buzz Lightyear toys getting shipwrecked on an island. That, I didn't know how that was gonna go. Like, I knew the premise of the movie, but I didn't know how they were gonna connect the 100 Buzz Lightyear dolls to the idea of screens versus toys. But anyway, they were so creepy, but it was so funny. Like, they just looked like the little spiders crawling around, but they're Buzz Lightyears. Anyway, they were so funny. My husband and I were just laughing. So we cackled the whole movie. Like, the movie was so funny. It had sad moments. But going back to what we talked about last week about Father's Day and maybe going tent camping, there was tent camping in this movie. So we had this whole conversation with our kids about tent camping and going camping and having fun and like the things that you do when you're going tent camping. We checked out a book from the library about camping. I am not a camper, okay? Camp keeps coming up too in my podcasts. I don't know how that keeps happening. But anyway, a family shows up in the movie that's tent camping, and I just looked at my husband and I'm like, we really cannot get away from this idea. Maybe it's something we actually have to do eventually, is take our kids camping. But I just want to glamp. I really want to just get a hotel room here in Kansas City with the coolest pool. That might be Great Wolf Lodge, I guess. but the coolest pool and just spend the night. And I think my kids would love that more than camping. I don't know, they probably love camping. Anyway, in Toy Story 5, there was so many adult jokes and just a lot of poop humor that my husband and I laughed the whole time. We would like look at each other and just start laughing, and I still remember Toy Story 4. Me and my sister went and we laughed the whole time because Forky was such a good addition to the movie, and now they have like a potty training toy for this new movie. Anyway, I love Toy Story 5, but I can't think about the plot too much because if you think about it too much, it doesn't make sense. I mean, it's just so silly, to be honest. But I cried when Bonnie was she was actually getting cyberbullied by kids because she still played with toys. And I don't love that they're in the story, the kids were able to connect with strangers online. But when you really zoom out and think about the movie, Bonnie's parents were actually the villains. They didn't watch her, they didn't look at her tablet. They saw her mood change from going to a happy, bubbly kid to an angry kid, and they didn't think, let me check her iPad. They just let her roam free with this iPad. They said, oh, you'd only get an hour a day, but she was on it constantly. It didn't change my opinions of screen time. My opinions on screen time actually match the movie. I think there's a good balance between both. My kids, they don't really get screens at all, ever. Only when when we travel. But my kids are also really young. They're not 8s. There's going to be a day when my kids do go to elementary school, and they are probably going to be the only kids without a smartphone until they're teenagers. It's just hard, as a parent, you just have to find a balance, but maybe it's more supervising. I don't know. I can't criticize anything because I think about how my opinions as a parent change every time. I could judge a parent for something, but then I'll be in that exact situation and make that exact same decision because there wasn't a better option. I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to try. My husband and I have talked about our kids not being on social media until they're over 16, and smartphone use. I don't know, because phones are so nice when our children are doing multiple activities and things like that. There's going to come a day where they need a phone. Anyway, I was one of those kids who got one of those analog phones in the 4th grade, so that way my mom could contact us whenever she needed to. So that was nice. And I didn't get a smartphone until I was in 10th grade, so I was 15, 16, so that kind of balances out. But yeah, it's one of those things that we really have to think about, how are we going to introduce technology to our kids? How are we going to supervise our kids with technology? And how are we going to manage peer relationships? I mean, a good point that they hit in Toy Story 5 is that it's hard to make true friends when all you do is talk on chat. You have to actually be with them and do something with them to actually make friends. But anyway, Toy Story 5 was so good. I can't wait for it to go on streaming. There are so many kids movies coming out the next 2-3 weeks. I have so many kids movies I really want to take my kids to see. There's a Minions vs. Monsters movie coming out 4th of July weekend, and then after that it's the live action Moana. And I just want to take everyone that I know to all of the movies because I love going to the movies. I am just a big movie nerd, but I haven't even seen Disclosure Day. I know that's one of those things that I'm going to have to go see once I get a babysitter so I can take my husband. I hate going to the movies alone. I know that's been something that people have talked about is you should go to the movies alone because you're not talking to anybody anyway. But leaving a movie at night is so terrifying. I mean, just being in a movie theater, it's dark, especially if you're alone. It's so scary. I did go see Wuthering Heights by myself, and I went to an 8 p.m. movie, so that's probably why I was scared. There were people all around. I wasn't in an empty movie theater, but I was still so scared, so that's something I have to think about. But yes, there are so many movies I want to see and that I haven't seen. I have not been using my AMC A-lister membership in the way that it should be used because all I'm seeing are kids' movies. Anyway, I'm obsessed with movies. I'm also obsessed, moving on to my obsessed section, I'm obsessed with going to Power Life. I talk about this every single week, but it really does consume my life. I go almost every day. I just love working out. I love feeling just a little sore after a hard workout. Not a ton sore, but just like a little sore knowing that I worked out a muscle maybe I haven't used yet, or used often, or worked out often. I just love the feeling of just being a little tired, a little exhausted. And I say that knowing that it probably has to do with my menstrual cycle and just how my energy is during these times. But yes, this week I have been so obsessed with just feeling a little sore and a little tired going into every workout. And yes, I just love working out, and that's no secret. But we did find out a big secret last week, that Tom Holland and Zendaya actually were married. He let it slip during an interview, but I mean, that's no surprise. Like, Tom Holland and Zendaya, I think Law Roach already told the world that they were married and just like breezed right past it. And I'm assuming Zendaya gave him permission to even say that. But I just love the way that Tom Holland can't keep secrets. He did give away like a portion of like the last Spider-Man movie. I know there's a new Spider-Man movie coming out. I can't wait to see it. But anyway, he gave away a portion, like a big surprise in the last Spider-Man movie. And I can see myself in Tom Holland in that I just cannot keep a secret. Like, if there's something if it's a really happy secret, like, I have to tell somebody. My husband knows absolutely everything. I tell him everything. If you tell me a secret, Dante knows, just so everyone knows. But I just can't keep a happy secret. A sad secret I can definitely keep. I will not tell anybody. If you tell me a deep, dark secret, I won't tell anybody. But if it's a happy secret, like if you are like expecting something really exciting, or if you're getting a promotion, like, I'm so excited for you. I just want to tell the whole world. So don't tell me your secrets, because I'm just going to be super excited for you and just be bursting at the seams. But anyway, more things that I'm obsessed with is Olivia Rodrigo's album. Now, I really like this album. I think I like this one more than her old ones, which might be a hot take. But if you're listening to this podcast and you haven't heard Olivia Rodrigo's album, you should listen to it. I say that I love it mostly because if I was 17, this would have been the music I was obsessed with. Like, I'm listening to it and it reminds me exactly of the alternative music that I loved in high school. And even like after my mission, so like I loved listening to Lainey. I loved listening to just those kinds of alternative songs. And Olivia Rodrigo is like scratching that itch. She is just putting out such good music right now. Stupid Song is a bop. That is my favorite song. Carla and I listen to it all the time in the car. I also love the song The Cure. Every time I hear it, like, I'm feeling in a better mood. But she's just doing something different than the rest of the pop girls. Like, she's not, I mean, I think all of the pop girls have their own different sound. Like, we're talking like Sabrina Carpenter, Taylor Swift, and I'm forgetting her name, another pop girl. They all have their different sound, but there's just something different about Olivia Rodrigo that's really just scratching this itch in me, that I just love her music, and it makes me like love the music that the teenagers like. Oh my goodness. But yes, if you're listening to this, go ahead, turn on Olivia Rodrigo's new album. It's very good. They have a clean version for those of you like me who are like, I don't want to listen to curses in every single song. It's good. Well, I say that, I don't like hearing curse words in every song because I usually listen to music with my children in the car. So, and they love to ask about bad words. We were sitting in church yesterday on Sunday, and this boy was giving a talk. He was about to leave on his mission, and he said that, like, he goes, I love my dad because it was Father's Day yesterday. He said, I love my dad because he always puts up with my crap. And the whole crowd like giggled to themselves. And then Levi looks at me, my 5-year-old, and he says, Mom, he said crap. And he said that so loud. Knowing that, I mean, we're trying to keep them from saying bad words so early. I was like, do not say crap. Like, I know they said it at church. That doesn't mean you can say it. Anyway, so funny. I don't love when kids curse, but I'm such a bad parent because sometimes I just have to giggle. Or like when we were listening to Casey Musgrave's, I can't remember which song, but anyway, she says, oh, it's Mexican Honey. And she says, what the hell? And Carla looks at me and says, Mommy, can I say what the hell? And I had to laugh. Like, it's so hard to not laugh at that. And then I had to tell her, no, you can't say that. Like, kids are so funny. They just say the darndest things. Anyway, one last thing. If I can get you to pause this podcast and watch anything, listen to anything, is I need you to go to Peacock and watch the Las Culturistas, the Culture Awards from Las Culturistas. I don't know why I struggle to say that. I love Las Culturistas podcast. I look forward to it every single week. Matt and Bowen are the funniest people alive. I love them. I love their humor. I love just the campiness of them. But the Culture Awards, this was my first year watching it. I don't know why I didn't watch it before, but this is my first year watching it, and it was so good. The opening monologue was so funny, and it spoke to every single one of my interests, and it just really kept up with my attention span, which is the attention span of a squirrel. But I just thought like the monologue was better than most award ceremonies that I've ever watched, other than the Nikki Glaser monologues. I love Nikki Glaser with all my heart, but that was better than most award ceremonies that I'd ever seen. It was just so campy. Like, there was something so just pizzazzy about it. Anyway, we see Lisa Rinna like 6 times with different outfits. Lisa Rinna just has my heart. There's just something about that woman. She could do no wrong. And I just loved every outfit she did. It was, again, so much camp. I love that Lisa is such good friends with Matt and Bowen that they had her come on for that part. Ben Platt also sang. Last year he sang a cover of Diet Pepsi, but he cleared this year. He clears every time. He always Kelly Clarkson's anyone's song. I'm sorry, you probably hear some yard work. Let me pause really fast. Okay, I'm back. My neighbors usually don't get their yard done on Mondays. It's usually Fridays, so I'm not sure why they showed up today, but anyway, if you hear any yard work in the background, it's my neighbors, but this is the only time I can podcast today, so we're gonna keep going. Anyway, Ben Platt, he clears with every cover. He Kelly Clarkson's every song that he sings. This year, what's her name? Oh, the girl who played Snow White. She did an Addison Rae song, so good. Loved it. Meg Stalter, she sang Prettiest Girl in America. It was so good. Just no one is as funny to me as Meg Stalter. I don't know, there's something about her that always makes me giggle. She's just so different from so many comedians that we are seeing nowadays. And it just cracked me up that people in the audience actually knew the words to Prettiest Girl in America. Like, I had never heard that song until the Las Culturistas Awards. And so that was a shocker. Also, there were so many Real Housewives there. Bronwyn Newport came out dressed as a Bene Gesserit, or however you say it. Those people from Dune. And then there was a baby Shrek. It was just so campy. Mandy Moore came out singing a song from A Walk to Remember. I didn't watch A Walk to Remember as a kid, so it doesn't like sit as like a really like nostalgic movie for me. I did watch it as an adult, and Dante spoiled it for me. He didn't know that I had never seen it, so he walked into the room like, oh, you're watching A Walk to Remember? Oh, so-and-so dies. And I was like, is this how this movie goes? And he goes, yeah, it's my mom's favorite movie. And I was like, I have never seen this movie, you just spoiled it for me. But anyway, Mandy Moore, love her. Loved her in The Breadwinner. I talked about that in my first episode. But anyway, I can't name everyone that was there, but if there's anything, wait, I'm gonna pause because there's more sound. Okay, I'm gonna continue because I think it's slightly quieter now. But anyway, if there's anything that I can get you to stop watching this podcast and go and watch on Peacock, is go watch the Culture Awards from Las Culturistas. It's so funny. Their heated rivalry jokes were just killer. Everything was amazing. And Dante didn't understand it. I made him sit and watch it. He doesn't understand any of those pop culture references. He doesn't really know the Housewives. He only really knows the Salt Lake City Housewives. But yes, very good. Okay, now moving on to pop culture. You can skip this if you don't watch Love Island UK. Let me pause. This is really loud. Okay, I'm back again. I'm so sorry. Okay, so you can skip this if you don't watch Love Island USA, Love Island UK, 90 Day Fiancé, yada yada yada. Skip ahead a couple minutes because I have to talk about this. Okay, I think they're almost done. Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. I'm gonna have to edit so much. Anyway, the villa needed more people on Love Island USA. It needed more people. There were just not enough bombshells coming in. There were just not enough people coming in. And so that's why people weren't exploring. So Casa Amor is going to be wild, and it's going to be exactly what they needed. And there's an entire week of Casa. Like, that's so different than usual. It's usually only like 3 or 4 days. We get a full week of Casa Amor. So this is actually going to be crazy. The letter challenge on Monday night last week was actually so messed up. The idea of them, as I was watching, I was watching as the mailboxes were moving, and the idea of them going in after every single letter reading and moving the mailboxes just felt so silly. It kind of takes the idea of the seriousness of Love Island out of it for me. But I just cannot watch a grown man cry. And poor Caleb, he wasn't crying, but you could see the disappointment in his face. And that is so hard for me to watch. And even watching him listen to Kenzie's letter to Corbin, really just made my stomach hurt so bad. And don't even get me started with Sol. She didn't deserve to have to stand there and realize that she wasn't picked by Sincere. It just feels like a humiliation ritual. The letter challenge was just so messed up. It was good. And it was funny, hearing them talk about how, where's ChatGPT? I need AI to write this letter for me. That's kind of sad, but I mean, it was just really funny, the way that they did the whole mailbox challenge. But anyway, the next day, maybe it was 2 days after that, Sol was dumped from the island, and that was so disappointing for me. She was the only one doing the villa right. She was trying her best to get to know people, but everyone was just so closed off to meeting her. And even Gabe's dumping was really hard for me, but that one was definitely a tough decision. But Sol being dumped just felt kind of off. But it's you can't blame anybody, which brings me to the point that the boys getting mad at the girls for who they dumped was so pointless. The boys were getting actually angry that they didn't dump Caleb, which is hurtful to Caleb. Who wants to be told you should have gone home, not him? Which brings me with memories to season 6 when they were telling Janae that she was supposed to go home. But anyway, the boys getting mad at the girls was so pointless. I just hate watching people argue. Something about seeing arguing brings me into fight or flight mode, which made me want to just turn off the show, but I just had to keep watching. But get Zach out of the villa. He just made everything just so much worse. His breakfast comment was terrible. He was just constantly blaming people. He's just a little on edge. There's something wrong with him at this moment. Obviously, I've talked about this. Being on Love Island would be really hard because you don't have your normal comfort zones. And so that's probably what's wrong with Zach in the head. But he needs to be out of the villa. He's driving me actually crazy. But back to the mailbox challenge. Anaya's letter made me cry. I mean, I just love her. Anaya is my very favorite person in the villa. Anaya and Melanie. But I love her so much. And I know her heart is going to be so broken at Casa. We saw just from Sunday night's episode that there's no way Casey's coming back single. But something about the fact that there are 12 guys showing up tonight. I cannot wait for tonight's episode. There are 12 guys pulling up to the villa right now, or in tonight's episode. So I cannot wait to see if there's somebody for Anaya and somebody for Melanie. Although it was shocking to me that Melanie was just so calm. Anyway. It was annoying to me, going back to the whole Zach thing, that he kept bringing up the idea of meeting somebody else in the villa over and over to Kata. It just shows his immaturity. Him and Bryce just always like, I like the edits of Bryce and Zach and their like bromance, but it's just, he's just so immature. Like the breakfast comment, it just shows his immaturity. And he was so mad that Kata even talked to Caleb, but we can see now like exactly how Zach's moving in Casa Amor. Anyway, I don't hate Kenzie. I know the internet is not liking her and really wants her out of the villa. I don't hate her. I didn't like that she like pulled Caleb along, knowing that she was gonna pick Corbin all along. But I just don't hate her like the rest of the internet does. I don't see what they see in her, probably because I wasn't paying attention the first couple episodes. But yes, I don't hate Kenzie. Sincere, he is the biggest liar, the biggest snake. I hate him so much. He's the reason Sol left. Sol should be at Casa Amor. Like, she should be in the villa with the rest of the girls. But anyway, he was being so immature about the dumping, and he was throwing all the girls under the bus for their decision. But like, I don't know, something about Sincere, I have a feeling he's gonna come back from Casa Amor single. He's not gonna find a girl there or something. And I don't know, Melanie was so calm about everything that happened on Sunday night. So I'd love to find out why she was so calm. Maybe they made like a pact, like, let's come back together from Casa Amor no matter what. I don't know. It was weird that she was so calm. Anyway, Sunday's episode was a good twist on all of the Love Island traditions that we always see. I hate that they played in the girls' faces like that. Like, oh, like, here's a gift for you. Now you have to watch all the boys do the heart rate challenge with these girls. But if the girls hadn't seen that, there was no way that they were even going to get to know any of the Casa guys. So it really like made Anaya think, okay, I need to go and actually explore new connections. Same with Kenzie. She probably wouldn't have explored anything because she really liked Corbin, but after seeing the things from the heart rate challenge, she was like, yeah, let me go ahead and do my thing. Anyway, I don't like the heart rate challenge, so I'm glad it's already over. And it was great because I could kind of prep what I was gonna say during this podcast during it last night. So yes, don't love the heart rate challenge. Anyway, going on to Love Island UK, that villa is full. There are way too many people there, but when it's full, that means there's more connections being explored, and it makes for the show to be a lot more interesting. I'm glad George left. I'm way behind if you can't tell. I'm glad George left. I hope his family member's okay, but I could tell like he was just in a weird situation and he moved kind of weird in the villa, so I'm glad he's kind of gone. Kiss currency in Love Island UK is just way more expensive than on the US. Like, a kiss in the UK means a lot more versus a kiss in the US. Like, I feel like they were just kissing everybody the first week. And now with the UK, like, if you kiss somebody like the first week, like, you're gonna close off the next. Anyway, no one in Love Island UK is closed off, which makes it way more juicy than US too. I feel like they're way more excited to get to know more people. The only people that I feel like are closed off are Sean and Lola, and they're just so cute. And Sean is such a funny side character of this show. But anyway, there's just a whole like spider web of love triangles on Love Island UK. Like, Aiden wants Ellie, but Ellie was mad at him for being with Yasmin. So Ellie's going after Aiden's brother, which is a twist that they added into Love Island UK. But Yasmin really wants Lorenzo. But Jasmine also wants Lorenzo and Aiden's brother. And Aiden called Yasmin Ellie when they were talking. Like, it's a big spider web, but I love it. I just eat it up. And like, the fact that like every time a girl doesn't like Lorenzo, Lorenzo wants that girl. But if a girl tells Lorenzo that they like him, then he doesn't want them anymore. It's just so twisted. But the bombshells on Love Island UK are actually given a chance to get to know the Islanders without their couple always being around, because they have dates and they have challenges to actually meet that person, not just kiss them like they did with Corbin. Anyway, Mika and Jasmine are my favorites on Love Island UK. Jasmine is just, she says everything that we're all thinking. I love her style. I love Mika's style too. They're just my favorites, and they're the reason why I'm still watching. I could not understand what Robin said. I know she left, but I could not understand what she said at all. Even Dante like wasn't paying attention, and he looked at me and was like, how do you even understand what she's saying? And I was like, I honestly don't know. Her accent is just so strong. I have to actually be watching and paying attention. And that's with all of the Islanders on Love Island UK, but mostly her. And then Sam, he's just too pure for this show. He is just so sweet and innocent. I hope he makes it far on this show. I don't think I could stand to see him sad, but he's such a sweet guy. And I say that I'm like infantilizing a grown man, but you can just tell like he's just not in the same mindset as the other Islanders. He's not looking for, I don't know, he might be. I'm infantilizing him. Anyway, I'll stop there. Love Island UK, very good this season. But Love Island USA, they're doing really good. This twist that they had on Sunday night has made up for such an interesting, kind of slower season. Anyway, 90 Day Fiancé. Everyone should be watching 90 Day Fiancé this season. I'm not sure Dominican Edward knows how good he has it. Like he is engaged to a very, very wealthy and hardworking woman. But I will say something about him is he's being very mature about the whole stepdad situation. I can tell like he's trying his best with her 2 teenage boys. But there's always a couple on 90 Day Fiancé where they met on vacation and they only ever met on vacation. So they only know each other in vacation mode and not real life mode. And especially like in this case, there is an unequal balance. And I think that's going to be like their biggest rift. Like his fiance, I can't even remember her name, is going to work every day and he can't work. He doesn't have a green card or a visa or whatever to work. So he is struggling to figure out like where he should be during the day, and it's just weird. Like it's a weird balance, and I even have seen it with my own friends and family who have had loved ones come over on visas but can't work right away. It's just such a weird balance. Like you only know each other on vacation mode and not in real life mode. Anyway, the next couple I want to talk about is Katie and Josh. They are not a match. Katie has been traveling for multiple years. She hasn't stayed in one place for a long time. And Josh is this guy from England who had this idea of settling down in the United States. They are just not a match. They are fighting over, they are fighting over just having a livable space. Like their space is not livable right now, and they are fighting over something as simple as that. They don't see eye to eye in anything. It's just not enjoyable to watch them. And I really only like watching couples on 90 Day Fiancé that actually like each other. And in no way does it feel like those two even like each other. And they're not even trying to make it work. So get them off the screen. Next is Mallory and Rashid. I think they actually do love each other. Talking about people who like love each other. I think they actually do love each other, but I think a lot of Mallory's friends are like not producer plants, but like the producers are like feeding drama to them to get Rashid to like be dramatic, to add drama to the show. But yes, I can tell that they actually really like each other and they can actually see a future together. And then finally, Mito and Debbie, again, another couple that does not like each other. Obviously, there's no connection to those two at all. But it was funny that they went to a haunted house to meet Debbie's friends and it ended badly. I went on a date at a haunted house before. That was interesting. Like, why was I, when there was, okay, so you go in groups of 4 at this haunted house. And so there were times like where you had to like crawl through things, or like you knew something was going to be behind you. Why was I in the back? Like, why was I the least scared person at this date? Luckily it was a double date. But it just felt so weird. Like, haunted houses are not for dates. Do not take someone you love to the haunted house. Only take people that you have no interest in to haunted houses, because that does not make for a very fun date. Anyway, the date was in Idaho. I don't know what I was thinking. I was young. This was not Dante who took me to a haunted house. Dante, you would not see him step foot into a haunted house. He does not like being scared. I do like being scared. Well, I used to. Now that I'm a parent, I don't want to be scared. Anyway, Real Housewives of Rhode Island. I do have to watch the part 1 of their reunion. But anyway, I ended the season still loving Joellen. I love her so much. I think She is just the personality in the show. I don't really feel bad for Brian, Rula's husband, but I do feel bad like when they're like showing clips of him and the spotlight is on him and like everything bad he's ever done is just flashed in his face. And it was crazy to hear that like he got domestic violence charges for tracking his wife's car. I don't understand like the legal logistics of that, but yes, they're still together. So no matter what you say about Brian, like there's nothing that Rula's gonna change. She loves her husband. She's gonna stick with him no matter what crazy things he does. Anyway, I do want to see Alicia's wedding maybe the next season. She deserves it. 9 years being engaged to the same man, no assets, your name's not on the house, your name's not on his business. I would at least want to see her have a wedding so she gets something. I don't know. Anyway, Real Housewives of Rhode Island, very good. Very strong first season, and I can't wait to see the reunion. I heard that Liz was vaping for the very first Real Housewife to vape during the reunion, but that was actually nuts. Like, I know it's like a stress relief for people. I do not vape or smoke, but it was kind of a funny add along to see, or clip from the reunion to see. And finally, everyone's talking about this show, or maybe it's a movie, Every Year After. I will not be watching that because it's a direct copy of one of my very favorite books, Love in Other Words. And I feel like I've seen this a couple times where like an author puts out a book with a very interesting and different plot, and then another author the next year puts out basically the exact same book, just slightly tweaked. And that's what Every Year After is. So I will not be watching Every Year After, no matter what anybody says, because I'm standing true to Love in Other Words. I think it's a Christina Loren book. Anyway, finally, my to-do list. This week is going to be kind of a crazy week. We have to prepare for our family reunion. I love family reunions. Those of you that don't know me, I have 2 family reunions every single year, and I'm not going to the second one this year because it's in Honolulu, and I already went to Hawaii this year, so we're not going twice. But we have a family reunion this week, so I'm excited to talk about that. I do need to get my eyebrows threaded before my eyebrow lady goes to Turkey. She's going to Turkey to see her kids who are in Iran. I think it's easier for them to meet in Turkey. So she's going, and she won't be back until closer to my birthday. So I need to go get my eyebrows threaded so that way I can just maintain it for the rest of the summer. But I need to see her and book that appointment. I need to watch part 1 of the Real Housewives of Rhode Island reunion. And I really want to watch Voicemails for Isabel. That looks so cute. It's on Netflix. I think it's just a rom-com movie, so I could easily watch it in one night. This is the last week of my son playing t-ball. Next year, if he does baseball again, it's coach pitch. And I'm so nervous. Like, I just want him to love baseball, which that's me just pushing my desires onto my children. But it's his last week, and I'm really sad. But I'm also excited to not be in the sun, but soccer starts in August, so I'll be back in the sun soon. I need to go to the library. My kids did hit the first challenge of the summer reading challenge, so they need their free book. And I need to check out a bunch more books. We are so low. Luckily, I have a good library at home, so if I ever don't go to the library, I have quite a few books for them to read, but I do need to go and get them some more. And then finally, I myself need to read more. I am 10 books behind on my reading challenge. So maybe I'll be watching less TV this week so that way I can read, because I have not gotten anywhere on any of my books. So more reading needs to get done this week. Anyway, that's it for today. That's it for this week. Thank you for listening to this podcast. I'm so glad if you made it this far. You are just amazing. I'm so grateful for everyone who listens and comments and messages me about my podcast. I'm going to do my best about posting more onto my Instagram page for my podcast, and maybe posting this on YouTube. We'll see. If this is on YouTube, it's a win for me. Anyway, I love you guys. I'm so grateful that you're here and you're listening. See ya!